What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Breaker Bros. And tonight we're going to react to the third week Bengals versus Colts preseason game.
Cream of the crop.
Well, I guess we'll watch some of the all 22. I figured we could just, focus more on the offensive side. A little bit more attention.
Why would we focus on the offense?
Well, there's not much to see on the defense.
It's preseason. We're going to be positive, right?
Well, now, according to Zach Taylor, they're just trying not to show their identity on defense.
You don't want to show too much. You don't want to show too much.
The only thing I'll say about that, which I kind of agree, but I mean, don't you still want to play a little bit of it just because?
No. You don't want you want to play as bad as possible.
Well, I'm just saying, like, if you, I'm sure they have an identity, but don't they want to kind of like work on things? They should play
somebody else's defense.
Someone else's defense.
Yeah, you should play as worse as possible, as bad as possible, and run someone else's scheme, but vanilla.
What would that do?
Really confuse the Browns. The Browns will not know what they're signed up for. They'll think that all they have to do is run the ball up the middle, but that's with the fake defense. The real defense will stop that.
I mean, that's pretty much what it's going to come down to is just stopping the run. I mean, if you force them to pass and make it more of a who can score the most type of game, then yeah, yes. I think that would be the goal for week one.
The Bengals I wish they would play their most important game week one. Like the hardest game they should play week one, right?
Was that the Bills or Ravens, I guess?
Yeah, one of them. Because, like, at least if you lose that game, you're like, that was a 50-50 game. You shouldn't play games that you should win until October.
Yes. Well, I mean, do most people feel like the Bengals should win against the Browns? I guess so, but...
I mean, if you think they're going to do something this year, yes. If you think the Bengals are going to be 9-8 and not make the playoffs, then... No.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. If the people don't, because there are some skeptics with the Bengals that already think that they're not going to make the playoffs or be a real contender. So I feel like if you're in that mindset,
the roster's kind of scary right now. The roster is scary.
I don't feel like it's much different than most of the other elite teams. Because I mean, the way it has to be nowadays is that most like really good teams are top heavy. I would say the only exception would be, I mean, San Francisco at a time was pretty balanced, but that's before they had to pay a quarterback. And I guess you could say the Eagles, but they're not going to be that way much longer. But all the other teams are pretty much the same in the same boat as the Bengals, if you think about it.
I disagree.
Well, who isn't?
I don't know. I just feel like the Bengals have been working on like the same problems for like multiple years in a row. And it's kind of annoying at this point.
Okay, before we get way too far off topic, because we will review some of the film. It's actually pretty cool watching the all 22 because it's just, well, you get two different angles and you can see most of the field. And it's just kind of nice to not hear the broadcast and just see the football plays as it goes.
Yeah, I mean, I guess as a note, you know what you're going to say when we watch it?
Well, for me, I feel like there's two or three people that we're going to be kind of keying on. So between like the centers and guards, because to me, that was the bright spot was Rivers looked really, really good. I keep wanting to call him Hill, but that's not his name. It's the backup center. Matt Lee. No, Matt Lee.
Okay, so good. I've got PFF open, and it says Matt Lee position left tackle. He played left tackle?
No, that's not correct.
That is.
He played center.
The whole game he played center?
Yeah.
Because it's got Matt Lee graded out as like a really good left tackle.
No, I mean, those should be for the center. I feel like the grades are correct to their state.
Card says Moops.
Who?
Moops.
What's Moops?
It's a Seinfeld reference.
Oh, okay.
But it for sure says LT, which I assume means left tackle.
Yeah. I
And
think
then it
that's safe
has
to assume.
Jalen Rivers graded really high, also as a left tackle.
Huh. Yeah, that's not correct. But
And then they also had Jermaine Burton graded really high, and I thought he played poorly in that game.
I don't think he played that much. He couldn't have.
Well, it has 10 total pass snaps, so that's not that much. But apparently he was streaking wide open, and nobody threw him the ball. But I remember him dropping a pass that like hit him in the hands.
Well, I guess we'll see it here in a little bit.
Yeah.
But before I forget, though,
Yes.
before we go too far off topic, because I've been watching that whole Netflix series, or I've seen a few episodes of it. Jerry Jones and I guess basically in the Cowboys and all that. But then he's been public the last couple of days as far as his contract negotiations with Parsons. And I think it's kind of funny because you think of the Bengals, and obviously most people think the Bengals are cheap. It's a smaller organization compared to like the Cowboys, which I'm pretty sure they have the highest valued franchise at like 12 or 9 billion or whatever.
Yeah.
So the Cowboys have money to spend, right? If there was any team just to spend money, it would be the Cowboys, right? For the most part. I'm sure there's other teams that would be up there. But nonetheless, what I find kind of funny is that a lot of things that Jerry Jones is saying now kind of follows the same principles that Mike Brown uses. So, like, to me, it's just not like it's not like a Brown thing, or it's not like a Jerry Jones thing. It's just more of like a business thing. And even Jerry Jones was saying, like, hey, even if we had all the money in the world to spend, there is a salary cap, right? So if you make two bad signings at high values, it's going to limit you to what you can do in the future. So, like, yeah, you can have the money to spend it, but if you spend it on the wrong person, then it delays you to get that other person that could fulfill that contract, if that makes sense, right? Because it's like if you spend your money now, you're gonna have to wait until it comes back into the pot, because it's all capped. So it's not necessarily about being cheap; it's about being able to construct the most competitive roster. But with that said, I think most teams are kind of following the same pattern where you're going to have pretty much a top heavy team. And then you're going to have to rely on like, veterans that are just looking to get a ring, willing to take a little bit less to play on a competitive team. And then really what it comes down to is drafting the right players. Because it's like,
right. But I mean, with that being said, though, I'm kind of surprised. I mean, I'm not like in the weeds on like all the players on the Cowboys, but I'm kind of surprised that Micah Parsons is not that kind of guy, because he's the right age and he plays the right position to be a guy that you give a lot of money to.
Remember what you were saying about Mike Brown and how he's got all the leverage because
lots of things about Mike Brown.
Well, no. Your point is that technically the Bengals have the leverage because he's got one more year, Trey, under contract. Plus, the Bengals can franchise him 2 more years, right?
Right, yeah.
So that is what you're competing against, right? Because that's technically what all they have to pay him if they want to go that route, right?
Yeah.
And that's basically what Jerry Jones is saying to Parsons and Mulugeta, his agent, because I think that's what the dispute is. From what I understand, if you read between the lines, Jerry Jones wants to sign like a 5-year extension, but Parsons and his agent, well, really his agent, they only want to do a 3-year deal. Because you're right, because they know the market's going to reset. So if they can get to that sooner to do another contract, they're going to make that much more money, right? So Jerry's calling that BS and saying like, hey, why would I do that? Because if we're going to go that route, right, then he's just going to play out his current contract with he's got the 5th year, right? And then he's going to franchise him 2 more years if they're just going to do a 3-year deal. That's where the dispute is that Jerry
that's the thing, though. Like, I disagree with Jerry.
Jerry?
Yeah,
Why?
because like just do the 3-year deal. Why wouldn't you just do a 3-year deal?
Because he saves money by doing the 5-year deal from a business perspective. Wouldn't it be better for the team to give Micah Parsons the highest non QB contract for 5 years, where you can spread it out a little bit more and
No,
have a little bit more
I'd rather
consistent?
only be on the hook for 3 years.
Yeah, if you're looking from the player's perspective.
No. From the franchise perspective, it's backwards. The player should want long term. The franchise, yeah, just do 3 years.
Well, no, because the risk is that if you assume that Parsons is as good as what he really is, right, or what you think he is, you're going to have to pay him that much more in 3 years versus if you had him for 2 more years, right? Because you have
Unless
a
he
five
gets
year.
hurt or he gets worse, which is more
Well, let's just
common than
assume the
someone
best,
being
right?
a
Let's
Hall
just
of
say he
Famer.
plays out his contract at a very high rate.
Yeah, that
You're gonna have to
assumes
pay that much more.
so it's a bad deal if he becomes a Hall of Famer. Right?
If he does a 3-year deal,
It's a bad deal for the Cowboys if Micah Parsons is a Hall of Famer.
if he does a 3-year deal.
If he does a 3-year deal. But if Micah Parsons is just like a really good player and then he flattens out or just becomes closer to average, then you're better off just doing a 3-year deal. So both sides are saying, oh, we think Micah Parsons is a Hall of Fame type player, and we think he's going to be like the best defensive end for the next 5 years. Then, yeah, it's a bad deal. But, like, that's just not reality. Most guys aren't Hall of Famers. So a 3-year deal, to me, like if I were a franchise owner, I would be giving out short-term contracts as much as you want.
I would say if you're like a top 3 or top 3 round draft pick, and you make it to the second contract,
Mm-hmm.
like you're far above average. Because like most people,
Well, yeah, but they're betting on
it past, like, the
themselves,
third
right?
year.
Because like most guys want 5-year contracts in case they stink.
Well, in some cases, like this one, sometimes the franchise wants the 5-year contract because you can lock them at a better rate.
Yeah,
the
that's
5
why I
years.
think it's kind of backwards. That's what doesn't make sense. It's weird, right? Because most franchises, like, if they do a 5-year, they try to like structure it so it's really a 3-year deal. And then you
Yeah,
got a
but
player
the
who
last
just
2
wants a
years is
straight
still
up
at
3-year
a
deal.
better rate, though. I think that's
What?
really the main difference, though, because you get a better rate for the 5 years than if you were to do a 3-year deal and then have to re-sign another big deal.
Yeah,
Then you're
assuming you would
basically,
want to sign him to another big deal.
yeah.
But like, if you 3-year deal is a bad idea because say like you sign him through a 3-year deal for like what's like the top non QB? It's like 40-ish, right?
Yeah, I think it's 40.3 is where they're at.
Okay, so it'd be like 121 million for 3 years.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd do that.
Yeah, I mean, I guess it goes back to the principle,
Because
though.
from the Cowboys' perspective, say he's awesome, say he's the best defensive player in the league for
Well, no,
3 years
okay.
in a row.
I guess it
Then
goes
just
back.
franchise them.
Well, that's again. I think it goes back to that because if they're just going to do the 3-year deal, then just franchise tag them and you get them way cheaper.
Yeah, but
Right.
just do them the 3 years and then franchise them year 4 and 5 if you want.
You can only franchise so many years in a row. I think that's why.
No, but if you sign them to a 3-year deal, you're not franchising them until.
Oh,
year
you mean
4.
franchise after the
Yeah.
3-year extension?
I mean, it's just like what you're saying is you both believe that for sure he's going to be an elite player year 4. You don't know that he might get hurt year 3. Like from a franchise perspective, the shorter the contract term you can make, the better off you are, because like guys like Micah Parsons, if he plays like he's been playing for 4 years or 5 years or 10 years, you're not going to get hurt as a franchise if you pay him top dollar. You only get hurt if you pay him top dollar and he doesn't play, or if you're paying him top dollar and he's like just an average guy. So, most guys don't want to play short term and then have to like earn it year over year. So if I own the Cowboys, I would not have a problem with that. I'd be like, yeah, sure, 3 years, fine. 3 years, 121. Boom, do it.
Yeah, but it'd be way cheaper if they just franchise them now, though.
Yeah, but in year 4 of the contract, it would be cheaper to franchise him then than it would be like the deal he would sign if you franchised him 2 years in a row.
I don't think so, because if you do it, because he signs a 3-year extension, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then by the 4th and 5th year, on average, he's going to be making the 40, right? Plus,
Right.
how many other defensive ends will be making that much? So the
Most of
franchise
defensive ends would be making like 50.
exactly. So the franchise is going to be even more by then. Is what I'm saying.
Yeah, but if you franchise them this year, it would cost you like what do we say it was, like 30-ish?
If you franchise them now, I think it's like 28 million or something like
so
that.
30 and then like 35. And then, so let's say, but you could only franchise them twice, because like the third time you franchise them, it would be like, it's like.
No, I think you can only just do it two times. Yeah,
no, I think you can do it 3 times. It's just like a multiplier.
No, I think it's only twice.
Because I want to say our boy. Wait, hold on.
You like that? You like that?
I think he got franchised 3 years. I want to say like the third franchise tag he signed, he got 140% what the franchise number was. I think it goes up 20% each year you franchise them.
Yeah, you might be right about that. Actually, it doesn't matter. I will believe you. You're probably right.
Hey, for us, it's good enough, right?
Yeah.
Point being, like, if I had any elite player saying they only wanted a short-term deal, I would do it.
Yeah. No, the more the drama, the better, especially if it's coming from the Cowboys. But it sounds like it's probably going to go into the season, because I think both sides are pretty much dug in. But
yeah, Cowboys are like the best soap opera.
Right now they are, yeah. All right. Let's check this offensive out. Actually, I think he had a pretty good return, Burton. Yeah, that's probably part of the reason why he graded well. Because I don't think he played that much, because I think he was out by the second series. Yeah, because his second return is that when he got hurt.
Mm-hmm.
I wonder how much they're actually going to return during the season, because I kind of remember this last year. They
where teams were like playing with it, but then like
when the regular season started,
just straight out of bounds.
Yeah, it was like they were doing it in the preseason, kind of like what they're doing now. But then when the season actually started, no one was actually doing returns. I was like, okay, well that's weird.
Yeah, I can see that.
All right. So Matt Lee's at center, and then I'm looking at center and right guard. So Lee and Rivers. Oh yeah. This is actually a good play by Rivers. I actually saw this on Twitter. He helps the tackle and basically gets a pancake. I feel like this should make you happy. Let's hit right here. Boom.
It's okay. Your description of it was better than it really was.
I thought it was pretty good. But yeah, just like thinking about when watching the game live, I felt like the run blocking was pretty decent. Really not much going on there because they got the ball out so quick.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's partly why, I guess, out of all the positions, they don't, maybe guard is like something they don't look at as much. Oh, wow. Yeah, see, like I felt like the run blocking was pretty good.
Yeah.
But it seems like you can get by with average guards if you can get the ball out quickly.
Okay, but the Bengals haven't had average guards for a very long time.
Well, they haven't had 2 average guards at the same time in quite some time. It's like for a while there, because when Kappa, the first couple of years of Kappa, until he had like his major injury, he was actually pretty good or above average.
Yeah, but then you had Colson on the.
Well, Volson at
Volson.
Well, no, Volson
Cordell
at points, he was playing like average or above average, but then he would just always, fall out. So It's just they can never have like two decent ones playing at the same time. But last year, for sure, like both of them just weren't good at all. Yeah, I feel like on that particular play, I feel like, well, I guess there's a penalty, so I can't. I don't know who the penalty was on, but just watching the flow of the play, it looked like everyone, as far as the offensive line, looked like they were doing pretty good. That was one thing I think Matt Lee did grade really well on was the run blocking. I think his grades overall was actually pretty good, but specifically on the run blocking, I think he's going to be good. I think Matt Lee could be the future center for sure. That wasn't a very good play. There you go. Burton, there's his catch. Because the one thing I felt about Matt Lee, because he is kind of undersized, is that he usually gets in front of people. But yeah, he looks like he definitely lost his footing there. But he's usually pretty sturdy, like he can keep him in front of him. Yeah, I think they called a penalty on him on that one. I kind of remember that one on Matt Lee, 65. He got downfield too quickly.
Oh yeah, illegal man downfield.
Yeah, I think this play had potential. It was just, yeah,
Yeah, maybe it was. I mean, can you blame him though? Maybe it was late.
yeah.
Because the offensive lineman, you wouldn't really know, right? You just got to kind of.
It's a timing thing, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, he might have mistimed it as well, but I feel like it's like you got to count it in your head, right? You can't really see it.
See, this was a pretty good pass blocking play by both of them, Rivers and Lee. Well, really just in the offensive line in general. Pretty good pocket.
Yeah, I mean, Rivers has looked pretty good. I mean, I'm still like not like I don't like the idea of relying on two rookies. I wish they would sign the free agent
Eisner.
Yeah. I just don't think it's a good plan. But I could be wrong. Like maybe Rivers is good enough to play, and then you got Rivers, and then you got you know, can't think of his name.
McLaughlin, the Ford.
Yeah, Ford, Cody Ford. Maybe you just use Cody Ford as kind of like the swing tackle, swing guard kind of backup. Or maybe you feel like you got who's the guy we signed?
Patrick?
Yeah, maybe you're like, okay, well, Rivers is better, and if he can't play, then you got Patrick as the backup. I don't know. I mean, we're due, right? The Bengals are due to have drafted good guards. No?
Yeah, and I feel like Fairchild has looked really good.
Yeah, Fairchild has looked good. Shocked at how good he's looked.
Well, Rivers has looked pretty solid at guard.
Yeah.
Like he looked pretty rough
feel
as
like
a tackle.
The way that they played the preseason, I think they both look like they can play. Like they both look like potential starters. But I don't trust it. Like, could they have gone like a decade without being able to draft a guard, and then all of a sudden they get two in one draft?
Well, they seem to be hit or miss when it comes to guard. Like literally.
That's what I'm talking about. They're hit or miss, but then they hit.
I mean, that's kind of how it was before, right? with
I don't
man,
think
they seemed
so.
like they had a decent run because they had Zeitler and then who was that other
That was a
one?
decade ago.
Yeah, but he's still playing. But no, I'm just saying they
Cliff
drafted around
Bowling.
yeah, Bowling.
Bowling is like 20 years ago.
I thought Bowling and Zeitler played at the same time. Did they not?
Yeah, Zeitler is like a 15-year veteran or 10-year veteran.
But I'm just saying they were drafted relatively around the same time, like 2 or 3 years apart. I thought.
Yeah, but not in the same draft.
Well, no, but they were kind of like close to each other.
But also Zeitler was like a first-round pick. Bowling was a third-round pick, and they hit third and fifth in the same year. That's pretty good.
Yeah. No, for me, like a fifth round pick playing this well as a guard against NFL players is, I feel like, yeah, they're backup players, but I think a lot of these are,
but like what do you read into it, right? Like, so they started him, but he didn't play much, right? Do you think they played him just so he could get some more reps at right guard? Because that's like the plan.
you talking about Rivers?
Yeah.
I think initially they wanted him to be the swing tackle. Like they thought.
Yeah, but this
I think-
game, the third preseason game, he played guard the whole time, right? He only played like the little bit of the first half, and he played.
No, I'm
only
saying
guard.
when they initially drafted him in starting out like during rookie training camp and regular training camp, he was going to be the swing tackle, and then they actually played a preseason game and he didn't look good at all. And then that's when they switched him after the first preseason game to the guard. And ever since he played as a guard, he seems a lot more stout. Like he's got really good size, I feel like, and he doesn't look as smooth as Sims, or sorry, not Sims, Mims. Mims is like huge, but he looks super smooth.
Yeah, I mean that makes
Whereas
sense.
Rivers,
to me, right?
he's
if you
like
look
big
at
and
what program
stout.
he came from. It makes sense.
But I think that's what we want too. Like we don't need our guard to be super athletic. We just need the guard not to get bull rushed. Like if he can just
that's
stay
a guard. Guards
right.
aren't as athletic as tackles, right? But it makes sense that you draft a guy from a program like Miami, like present day Miami, not like the U Miami, but present day Miami. You take a tackle, and usually like tackles from kind of, not elite college programs, they're probably more like guards, right? And then from like, top tier programs like Georgia and Alabama and Ohio State, their tackles are tackles and their guards are NFL guards. But like Miami or like South Carolina or places like that, you're like, okay, maybe their tackles are NFL guards. So it makes sense. And, I think that like in college, if you're a big guy, you get put out tackle just because you're big, right? But then they have all those years of playing against, more athletic guys in college, and then you push them inside. It just makes sense. It's the reverse of what the Bengals like to do, right? Like instead of drafting a guard with tackle upside, you draft a tackle who maybe you can play guard too, right? That's a much better way of doing it.
Yeah. No, I'm glad especially the Fairchild pick. I'm just glad they got a guard to play guard. Like to me, that makes a big difference. And then with Rivers, he can be a little bit more of a project because he is a later round pick. And I think they were hoping him not to have that much of an impact right away. I think they were looking to maybe develop him a little bit. But I guess knowing what they know now, he's probably gonna have to see action sooner. And I think he's a little bit more stable at guard, which is fairly obvious if you if you paid attention to like the way he's played throughout the preseason so far. Because they got him out quick too. I think Rivers only had like 2 full series and they took him out.
Yeah, so that's what I was talking about. It's like I feel like the way they played him was like they just played him so he could get more reps at right guard, almost like if they're planning on starting him, right? Like they just wanted him to get like a little bit more action, to get more experience, but like not so much that he got hurt or anything. But like they wanted him to get some reps, and they pulled him out. Which that makes me think of one thing. If you want to pause it for a second, Like, what do you make of McKinley Jackson playing so much on defense?
I think he hasn't gotten that much his live game action as a nose tackle, and I think he was just trying to get actual nose tackle reps
Mm-hmm.
against different teams. I think that's
Yeah.
really what it came down to. I know
Yeah.
some people were talking about him possibly getting cut, but I don't see it. Like, he seems to be a pretty decent impact player. I mean, he definitely needs to work on his consistency.
He didn't really like wow me in the first half. Maybe he had a great second half.
I think his first
But-
couple of series was pretty solid, but then as the game went on, it seemed like he was kind of wearing out. But
Yeah.
I think that's probably why he's in the doghouse. If I had to assume, is that maybe he's not in as much shape as he probably should be.
Uh-huh.
Be my
So
interpretation.
you think he's in the doghouse is why they played him?
Probably, I think so. I think it probably has, to me, has something to do more with conditioning rather than
Mm-hmm.
actual. Because like he seems to make impacts.
Yeah, except he
Even-
didn't really do much for me in this game against the Colts.
I don't know. His first couple of series, it seemed like he had some good plays, but then as the game wear on,
Yeah, I mean, I'm not saying he played bad. I'm just saying that, like, if you're like a starter level guy and you're playing against like backups, I expect you to look like a starter.
I wouldn't consider him a starter. I think he's more of a situational type guy. Like you would want him in during certain situations. So
Yeah, and maybe that's just me. I like want him to be a starter, so that's probably why I was disappointed. Because I feel like Rivers looked like a starter playing against backups. Like he looked like he wasn't really challenged.
yeah,
Whereas like I wanted to see McKinley Jackson look like he was just better than everybody else, and he really just looked like he could hold his own. You know what I mean?
yeah.
Like he didn't really like do something spectacular, which not that Rivers did anything spectacular, but he just didn't look like he was a step above. He looked like he was like, in the mix, maybe, high end of the mix. I'm not saying he played poorly, but like you want to see him like stand out. Whereas he looked like, yeah, he's just like the same as these other guys, maybe slightly better than most, but like still in that group.
Yeah. I don't even know where the ball went.
Yeah, I think Ritter slipped or something and then got batted.
'Cause it seemed like there was a decent pocket there. It did collapse at a certain
Yeah.
point, but okay. Yeah, he just needed to get it out like a half a second sooner.
Yeah.
Yeah, it just felt like the run blocking just seemed more smooth with the backups. I don't know why, but like this was a great cut by the running back too on this play. Like that was just beautiful.
I don't know. I think Milton just played a good game.
He
I
did.
don't know.
Ooh, nice. Rivers pulled on that one. I don't remember.
Yeah,
that.
I was gonna say, like, I feel like they pulled Rivers a lot, which I think he's probably not athletic for a tackle, but he's probably really athletic for a guard.
Yeah.
But he's just so big, man. He just swallowed up that linebacker.
Yeah, it just seems like he's a bit too slow to be a tackle, but he's like perfect for a guard. For an
Yeah,
NFL.
and that's the thing with Rivers. Like, I don't want to criticize him individually. I'm just like, it's kind of like fool's gold, you know?
Like Jackson had some good film from last year. Not sure how good a D tackle can look with that front seven, anyways. Fair.
Yeah, but I mean, when he's playing against like, guys that may not make the Colts on the offensive line, you expect them to like make a few more splash plays.
You want McKinley Jackson in when it's like 3rd and 10.
Look, I'm a McKinley
Third and
Jackson
long.
guy. I want him to like in the preseason game have like 3 sacks, maybe like a scoop and score, like big man touchdown. That's what I was expecting. That's where my expectations were.
This
The
is what
only
I
one
noticed.
that thought he was going to do better than me was his mom.
No, this is what I noticed with McKinley Jackson is that he's got these splash plays where he's like in the backfield. Like sometimes he makes a play, sometimes he kind of whiffs, which is
Right.
kind of what you expect for a defensive tackle,
It
especially
feels
against
like that's a
running back.
Texas A&M defensive lineman, doesn't
But
it?
then
Aren't we talking about our other guy?
he has plays where he gets washed out too, and I think that's where he needs to work on is just have less of those plays where he gets washed out
Mm-hmm.
and keep up with his plays where he's getting in the backfield because he does seem to be pretty quick for someone of his size, but there's just some plays where like whether he knows the snap count or whatever, but he's just like in the backfield already, and it's pretty impressive.
Yeah,
Or-
the thing that I've noticed him do a lot that I don't like is you see him like drop down to his knee. Like he'll get hit, he'll take contact, and then he'll like have one knee on the ground to recover.
Yeah,
Just doesn't look strong.
because I think
Kinda odd.
because like I said, I think he's more of a situational player. He's not like a true nose tackle of what you think of like Reader, where he like that was what Reader did specifically was take on two people and like wash them out of the play.
Yeah,
Create a stalemate.
that's what I'm thinking of is like Reader, right? Like on plays where he wasn't making plays, he was like holding his own, taking on two blockers, right? Whereas like, and then every once in a while he'd knife through and like, get in the backfield. Whereas like McKinley Jackson is like every once in a while he'll knife through kind of like Reader, but he doesn't like hold up stoutly against the offensive line. Sometimes he gets like pushed out of the play, right? And when we were watching like his highlights, right? Obviously they show all the cool things, right? The things that like, oh yeah, that's like Reader. But then watching him play in games, you see a lot of times he just gets kind of pushed out of the play.
Set up man for the rushers. He can eat blocks and doubles like crazy. Yeah. I mean, he's got the size to do it, but I think too, it's unfair to try to compare him exactly to Reader because Reader, like, I think a lot of people have gotten used to Reader. I mean, obviously, he hasn't played here for the last couple of years, but when he was here, like, the way he would just handle double teams, I think as a Bengals organization, maybe as fans, we kind of maybe didn't appreciate it as much as we should have because we definitely feel now.
Not me. I was all about Reader. I was sad when he left, but Bengals like to watch that pocketbook, so they let him slip away.
I don't think it was that. I think he was coming off an injury, and I don't think the Bengals expected him to like make it back at the beginning of the season. Like I don't think they expected him to play as much as he did early on.
No, he missed a lot of the beginning of the season, but the Lions paid him more than the Bengals.
I think he made the beginning of the season. Fairly confident
Maybe.
he was there because I kept on thinking like, how ironic was it? Because I felt like he was playing when our other defensive tackles that we drafted got hurt.
Okay, yeah, maybe
I felt like that was like the ironic part was like we specifically didn't pick him or resign him because we were kind of worried about his injury and we wanted someone to play throughout the whole year. And like the people that we tried to replace him with got hurt. So it was just like kind of ironic. All right. Let's see.
Yeah, just run it right up the middle. Nice. They should do that every single play.
Yeah, this is the view I want to see. It seemed like 60 had a pretty good block.
Yep. 77.
It just seems like they're playing as a unit, like across the front. They all seem like they know what they're doing.
Okay. Etienne was the one that made that block, but he graded overall a 36, and his pass block grade was a 15, which has to be the lowest grade I've ever seen on PFF.
I feel like I've seen like a 1 before.
You've seen a 1? 15 is the lowest one I've seen. Wow. For context, Peyton Thorne got a 28.8.
Is this where? Yeah, I guess this is where Redder runs it in eventually. So I want to say there must have been a penalty.
I will say Burton was like another guy where I expected him to look like he was just like better than everybody else. And he just looked like he was playing with the guys that he should be playing with.
That the tight end that
Yeah.
lamented.
What do we think of Burton? Like, okay. This is gonna be mean, but you want to talk about Burton right now, Josh?
I mean, I think he still has potential, but I also think other players on the team have made more of their opportunity. If you think of like Yossi Vash, because I think there was expectations that Burton could potentially be the third receiver, but obviously he had
Yeah, but I
pretty
mean, like
rocky
based on
rookie
this
year.
preseason, where would you have him?
Right now, probably
No, say he didn't get hurt. Say they just took him out to rest him at the point he got hurt. Where would you rank him?
I would say he's probably the fifth receiver.
Okay, I would have put him 6 by a long margin.
I can't say that because like he's a pretty decent returner. So
Not as good as Charlie Jones.
right, that's why I said he's fifth.
Yeah, but Charlie Jones played much better in the preseason.
Right, Charlie Jones would be 4.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, who was the guy that showed out
You're
against
thinking of Tinsley.
the
Tinsley would be
Redskins?
6.
Huh?
Tinsley to me would be 6 because he's not as versatile.
Yeah, I would put Tinsley as 5. I don't believe in raw talent to that extent. No.
And 4 makes sense to me too, but then I feel like Charlie Jones seems like he's really showed out this preseason in games and even in practice. It seems like he's finally hitting.
That's what I'm
his
saying
stride.
though. Like Burton has had so long, and he hasn't really done anything that like wows me. You know, like Tinsley had that really good game, 2 touchdown game against Redskins, right? Or Commanders.
I think I don't know because if you think of last preseason though, Burton had a pretty good preseason because it was like I think he had like 5 catches, but 4 of the 5 were like deep passes, and I think he had like 2 touchdowns. Like if you think about it, Burton kind of had like the Tinsley preseason last
I
year.
don't know. Tinsley just looked like he was better than those other guys. He just looked more athletic. More
He looked like
explosive.
a Jamar Chase light. I was like,
That's what I'm
the heck?
talking about though. Like after his second touchdown catch, the one where he like jumped up and caught that ball, and then they show the sidelines and like all the like Jamar Chase is freaking out. Joe Burrow's like, taking note. Like I went and I Googled him, like, where did he get picked? Right? And like, Burton just hasn't done the things that we saw in his highlights from Alabama. He hasn't really done as a Bengal. So to me, I almost like I still believe in Burton, like overall as an NFL player, but like sometimes you got to cut your losses. And to me, I'm at that point. I'm like, well, he's probably going to be a good NFL player, but he's probably not going to be a good player for the Bengals. He's probably going to be a good player for his next team.
But he hasn't even technically started his second year with the team yet.
Yeah, I've already given up on him. That's what I'm
I
saying.
think it's kind of early, but
Well, no, I mean it would be different if we didn't have the guys we have. But like with the guys we have, I'm just like he's not even going to play. I wouldn't play him over the other 5 guys.
I don't know. It seems like he's taking a lot of kicker returns. He might be. No. I think he would be inactive most games. I would assume. because he's probably backing up Charlie Jones. The more I think about it, I think
Yeah.
Charlie Jones is probably going to be your primary kick returner, punt returner, and then if he were to get hurt, that's when you would have Burton kind of fill in that role.
That's what I'm saying. I almost feel like he's been a distraction for the coaches because they're trying to prove that they made the right pick by picking him in the 3rd round. And with him getting hurt, I feel like they're just going to focus on who are the best guys to play, right? Because I just think there's like a little bit of like the coaches are trying to show how smart they are, and they're really putting him in when he's not really that much better than whoever else would be playing instead.
But actually, the more I think about it, with him getting hurt in the preseason, I was thinking this might actually open it up to where the Bengals are going to start with the season with 5 receivers. Burton would essentially start on IR.
Yeah, and then like the
offensive
right.
linemen.
Yeah, exactly. Then you can carry more offensive linemen.
I think that's probably what's going to happen.
It's almost better for the roster construction.
Yeah,
because
then you could start all 5 receivers and have all of them active game day.
Right, and then you put Burton on IR, and then you keep another offensive lineman. Also, you could keep Volson on IR, which I almost wonder if Volson getting hurt is like, yeah, you could put him on IR, but because he's hurt, like I don't think that like you can just cut him. So then maybe that's why they couldn't sign Reisner. It's because they got his $2 million they have to account for, or maybe they're just like waiting on signing Hendrickson before they give someone else money.
I think it's 2 things. I mean, possibly Hendrickson, which I think is already accounted for, or I think they're waiting for other cuts as well.
Yeah,
I think they're going to see if they have a few players that they can either, younger players that are probably still on their rookie contract that they could pick up.
Mm-hmm.
And if they're like as good or maybe even possibly better than a Reisner, then they're going to go that direction. But if none of those people fall their way, I think they will pick up Reisner. I think they're just at that point.
But like with Drew, I think the reason Volson's still on the team is because he got hurt. I feel like if Volson didn't get hurt, he would have gotten cut. But because he's hurt, I think like there are different rules on whether or not you can just cut people.
Yeah. I think if there's a long shot that he can still come back at some capacity, then you put him on IR. But it sounded like they pretty much knew he was going to be gone for the year because it seemed like the report came out that he was going to miss a year. But then I kept on seeing him at practice. So I thought that was kind of weird. Because normally, like once they're gone, right, they're not at practice. Or they're not like really hanging out with the team. They're kind of like rehabbing or whatever they need to be doing. Or maybe it's too early for that. I don't know. But yeah. Speaking of that, I think his name's Logan Brown.
No, it sounds like you're making stuff up. Logan Brown?
No, seriously, Logan Brown, guard. He got cut from a team recently.
Okay. I was gonna say he's on the Bengals.
No. He got cut from a different team. I can't remember. Thinking Patriots, but I don't think it's a Patriots. But that was like a player that came to mind that you would pick up before maybe picking a Reisner, because it's like you can still get a younger guy that's still in the rookie contract, still has potential. To whereas you pretty much know.
I don't really care about saving Mike Brown's money. I want them to sign the guy that can play. I don't care how much more he costs.
Yeah, but if you get a younger guy that still has more upside,
young guys.
Well, but a Reisner might just be a 1-year deal to where a younger guy could be a 2 or 3 year type situation.
Do we like Jalen Rivers or do we not like Jalen Rivers?
I like Jalen Rivers. He's open my mind.
That's what I'm saying. So like,
to sign
me, if you think like your rookies are starters, then like sign the 1-year veteran just in case, right?
Yeah, I mean, I can't.
If you don't think they can play, then yeah, I could see with going with a younger guy over the veteran. But to me, it's like, okay, if you think that you can roll with Jalen Rivers as right guard, then yeah, sign Reisner and then, play the best player, but then you're covered, right?
I want to see this. Yeah, I want to see the push by the Matt Lee by the center. don't know if I saw that much push, but they scored the touchdown.
Yeah. It looked good to me. Doesn't look like fun.
Yeah. I don't think it's fun for either side of the ball on the goal line situations.
Yeah. What position would you rather play on goal line?
Well, probably offensive line.
Yeah. I'd rather be a defensive tackle.
Well, the offensive line, the like when you're going versus on defense is more reactionary. So
Yeah,
I'd
but
rather have the
you
upper
move at
hand.
the snap and you just hit shins, right? But like the worst position, I think, would
I thought
be
that
the
was a pretty good
quarterback.
pocket.
Because quarterback just gets bent into like a pretzel.
Yeah, okay. So I think Rivers is officially out now.
Mm-hmm.
Is 77? Okay, that's Etienne, right?
Yeah,
I think so. Yeah,
yeah. He
I think
has
79
some.
did really good grade wise, according to PFF.
I will double check. 79 was the top graded Bengal for the game.
Yeah, wasn't it Coker? I think.
Yeah, 81 pass block, 64-6 run block. He played 60 snaps.
Yeah, he basically played the whole game. I thought, right?
I don't know. I stopped watching at halftime.
Yeah, yeah, it's pretty bad.
It was just coincidental that I stopped watching at halftime.
I can actually see it where Coker makes the team. I think he had a pretty good preseason. So if they do that, put like Burton on IR, I could see where they would keep like a Coker on the team.
Mm-hmm.
It always makes me wonder, like, well, then would it make sense to cut a Cody Ford? I know they really like
No,
him.
never.
Well, he's versatile, but I mean, is he really providing that much more upside versus some of these other players?
Yeah, because he can play like guard and tackle.
Yeah, yeah,
He's your swing. He can play every position except for center.
yeah. But I think Coker might be a better swing tackle. Is my point.
Well, yeah, but he can also play guard. So like,
Well, but then I feel
you
like
want your
Patrick.
backups to be able to be versatile because
Well,
you can cover more than one spot.
well, don't you think Patrick has a leg up over Ford?
Well, I mean, how many offensive linemen you have? 9?
Well, they kept 9 last year most of the season, but there's
Right.
been years where they kept 10 to 2. So it just depends
Yeah,
on.
I don't see why you would not keep Ford. Because he's played both tackles, and I feel like he's held up pretty well.
The only thing I would say about the all 22 is I wish I knew like the down and distance.
Yeah, they usually show you the scoreboard between each play. At least they're supposed to. Maybe it's the preseason for the all.
I thought they did it after
22.
each quarter.
No, they usually show it between each play. When you get to all 22, they like show the scoreboard and then they show like a sideline view and the goal line view.
Okay, maybe they just did it this way for the preseason.
Yeah, I think so.
Rico got a lot of punts this preseason.
Yeah.
I kept on thinking, like, man, they may have to rest him.
Cleveland's punter looked really good in their last game.
Just like Just getting gashed.
Yeah, they said. I mean, Riley Leonard. They said played pretty good this game.
Yeah, we're still in the should be closer to the end of the first half, I believe. Another batted ball, dang. All right.
Yeah. I feel like Ritter has like more of a sidearm delivery. Because he's a tall guy, but I feel like he gets a lot of passes batted down for how tall he is.
How tall is he?
I don't know. I mean, he's not super tall. I feel like he's like 6'4".
Okay.
But I mean, tall enough to, not have that be a problem.
Ritter was pretty fast too, I thought.
Yeah. I feel like he could run more, but I don't know if he just doesn't have a feel for it, or because like between his junior year he ran a ton, and then like his senior year felt like he ran way less.
Oh, that's what it was. It was like towards the end of the first half, because I remember like, all right, I'm gonna take like a quick shower, get done. About time I get done, it would be the start of the second half. And about the time I came back, it was like they scored like 21 points within like the time I stopped watching. It's like, what the hell happened?
I don't like the kickoff. It's weird.
Well, we'll see if they actually make people want to do it, because it felt like whenever they tried to change it, it wasn't enough for them to actually do the returns.
Mm-hmm.
But I bet it will be like that for the first couple of weeks, because that's just how the NFL is. They're like they would rather
just
give you
meant like the way they do it. It's like it just seems weird that like if you're a blocker, you don't know when the snap count. You don't know when you can go live. You have to like turn and look backwards, but like the defense can see when it's time to go, and you don't even get a chance to look.
I wonder if they will keep Ritter on the practice squad.
Maybe, I don't know.
I think it just depends on what other QBs are available.
I wouldn't be surprised if they went after Riley Leonard after this game.
Maybe.
If he's available, you know.
I mean, most likely, because I think most teams just keep two quarterbacks on the 53, unless you're the Browns.
Yeah, I think the Browns are keeping, 5 quarterbacks?
4.
Are they keeping 4?
Yeah, 4 on the 53. That's
Really?
insane. Yeah.
It's wild. What was the old saying? If you have 2 quarterbacks, you don't have 1? And they're keeping 4? What does that mean?
Chances are they're probably going to trade one of them. Or if they know one of them is going to get cut.
Who would trade for any of the Browns quarterbacks?
Maybe Pickett. I heard the
Why?
Raiders were interested in Pickett.
Really?
Yeah. Okay. I think. Yeah. McLaughlin's in now. 68. It's your guy.
Okay. It's definitely bigger.
Yeah, he's got more size for sure. And I'm sure he's probably still getting the rust off too.
Yeah. Is this still the first half?
Second half.
Oh. So Ritter played into the second half too?
Yeah, I think he played most of the game until like mid fourth, I think.
Wow. Because he only had like 70 yards passing.
Yeah, it was pretty bad.
Oof.
I think that was 77's fault.
Yeah, well, that would go in line with the 15 score.
Because I think he didn't know the snap count. Because he was still like on the line while everyone was moving back. Yeah, see?
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is you.
Yeah, that was another thing. It just seemed like whenever the Colts had the ball, it was just like long ass drives, eventually scored.
Mm-hmm. Well, the Bengals defense has not looked great in the preseason. But again, they're playing vanilla. They're playing someone else's scheme, so the Browns won't know what hit them.
Now, I do feel pretty good about the offense. It's just going to come down to can they at least slow down the run? They're not going to be able to stop it all the way, but just can't have those big running plays.
Mm-hmm.
Got to make them pass the ball. That's the only way you're going to expose them is make Joe Flacco pass. Really,
I
any
don't
of their
think so.
quarterbacks, if you make them have to pass, they're going to have errors. I think Flacco might have like the best arm out of all of them, but he's still like long in the tooth. So I just don't. I think the pressure can get to him.
I don't think
Pass
so.
rush, that is. I think so.
The last game I saw him play, I just saw the highlights, but it looked like he was getting the ball out quick. It didn't look like he had like the big arm like he did. Just like a lot of stuff to tight ends. Like not a ton of zip on the ball, but like just getting the ball out on time to the right person. Seemed to be more like his game now. It wasn't like he was pushing the ball down the field or anything. Just a lot of checkdowns.
It almost felt like he should have thrown that ball somewhere.
Maybe. I mean, if you have a left tackle that doesn't know the snap count, how long are you going to hold the ball? This could be like 1-2 go.
I don't know. Some of the pockets I felt like he ran out of, they were still pretty decent. But I mean, to be fair, it could just have been like a coverage sack or situation. But oh man, you catch that? Oh, he dropped it. It's kind of underthrown.
Yeah.
Should have been a big play.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's just no rhythm on offense. guess the Colts scored so much they didn't want to risk hurting their players. They just start kicking it out of the end zone. I don't know. Our backups seem to be blocking better on the for the run plays. Wonder if that was on the center.
Don't know. You'd have to get a butt cam to know for sure, right?
Yeah. Sometimes they zoom in on that and you can kind of see what happened, but yeah, as far as the center though, it just you can kind of tell he's coming back from an injury. It doesn't feel like he has that oomph. Like he's just trying to feels like he's just trying to get his bearings back.
Mm-hmm.
To whereas like Matt Lee seemed like he was initiating more contact and seemed like he was a little bit more lively. It's like you go forward a little bit every so often and they're just like slowly moving up the field. That's a weird kick.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, now it looks like the third, or I guess the fourth quarterback is in. Or wait, yeah, 10. So this must be the fourth by now. Good tackle. I know it's not much, but I feel like with the film that McLaughlin put, I almost feel like you could probably get away with him being on the practice squad. Now, it still may not. It still may not be like a good thing because I mean he's got like a lot of good film. I'm guessing from college, so there still might be a team that would take a flyer on him, but he might be worth the risk on putting on the practice squad if you're just looking to keep the 9 offensive player or offensive linemen versus the 10. But the only reason why I would think they would do that, it would be if they keep the 5 tight ends for whatever reason.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't think that it's safe to put him on the practice squad. I think he'll be gone.
That's a nice play. Nice finish on that one. But if he makes the 53-man roster, I would assume he would be inactive a lot.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's fine. I just feel like if he's on the practice squad, somebody else is going to pick him up. Because he looks like he's healthy, so it's just...
It's going to take a little time for him to regain where he was at and then get past or where he needs to be, really. It could have been on the center because that's the second snapping issue, and that was 2 different quarterbacks.
No, it's the same guy.
Oh, it was the 10 before?
Maybe not. I take it back. But I mean, if you're the third center in the Bengals offense, how many snaps do you think under center they do?
Probably not that much in general.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
And a beat, too.
Mm-hmm.
That throw. Conley. Oh, okay. They probably score in this drive because I did see that they got 14 points. Gee.
Sheesh.
I feel like he had the guy up on the seam. Not really. Maybe Burrow could have made that throw, but that would have been
I didn't
tough.
see a single guy in the middle of the field.
He would have had to throw it over this linebacker.
That was a good adjustment.
Who's 14?
Don't know. Jordan Moore. That didn't look open.
It wasn't even close. Yeah, they should have ran it a lot more. I feel like that was my biggest takeaway on the offense.
Yeah. They can run it now.
Well, I'm sure the Colts were probably doing very similar things that the Bengals were doing as far as not showing their identity.
Well, I feel like with preseason, the only thing you can take away is run defense and run offense. because there's not much chicanery with that. It's like they just either run it or they don't, right? It's just who's stronger, who's better at blocking.
Well, I guess after watching the offensive side, but in general, do you think there's going to be any surprises when it comes to the 53-man roster?
I got nothing on it, man. I,
Yeah.
I agree with you about the top heaviness of the roster. I feel like, like the guys we expect, yeah. But then there's like a lot of guys. I have no idea who the last, 5 guys on the team are going to be.
I feel like as far as the offensive line, I like the depth a little bit more this year. I do feel like overall the quality is better than last year.
Mm-hmm.
And it can probably get a little bit better still, I hope. But I think there are a lot of question marks when it comes to the defense.
Yeah.
But I do agree to a certain extent that they haven't really showed that much. Because I'm sure when the season starts, like we're going to see so many different combinations when it comes to like which defensive linemen they have versus what linebackers they have in. And I think that's going to be the key is that between the front 7, there's going to be like a million different combinations, I feel like.
Yeah, but they haven't looked good at safety, have they?
It's hard to say because it's like I don't think both of the starting safeties have actually played a lot with each other.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I mean, on defense in general, they've looked suspect in a lot of different areas. I mean, they have moments where they seem like they're doing good, but then I think really what throws everything off is when every team can like run 20 to 30 yard run plays against us. It gets pretty
Yeah,
exhausting.
but isn't that kind of sort of on the safety as well?
Yeah, but it's tough when there's a big ass hole at the line of scrimmage and like when you're a safety, like you don't want whoever's running the ball coming at you at full speed. I think that's like the difference. It
Okay.
makes a difference when like there isn't that much of a hole and it's a little bit more of a challenge to get where they need to go versus when it's like wide open and they can run downhill. Because most safeties are pretty much known for not necessarily for their tackling ability. I think most of them they make business decisions. I think it's been like that forever with NFL. Majority of safeties and DBs are not really known for hitting, I don't think. But doesn't mean they can't be solid tacklers or whatever, but you just don't want them being in a situation where it's like a safety going one-on-one with a running back. Because I feel like in most cases, the running back is going to win.
Okay.
But yeah, I guess next week we can do the schedule prediction. And then
that's what I'm here for.
And then we're back in the regular season.
Yeah.
All right. Well, is there anything you want to add? I guess we'll call it a night.
No, I think we're good.
All right, man.